Welcome to North Tees and Hartlepool Voices, telling the stories of our people and community in our trust.
And today in the studio we have
Helen Waller and Natasha McManus.
And you'll come to talk about
International Women's Day.
My first question is, what is International Women's Day?
So for me, it's a celebration of all the social, economical, cultural, political achievements that women around the world have achieved to date. It's obviously an annually celebrated day for women.
My side of things, it's essential for employers not to only just celebrate the achievements of women, but also actively support their well-being in the workplace.
So what International Women's Day mean to you personally? And why do you feel it's important to celebrate it?
As I've said, it's actively supporting the well-being in the workplace, and as a health and well-being advisor, I think it's just highlighting the gender sort of specific health issues that women go through, just highlighting what we need to be doing better and what are the issues and what are we celebrating in those issues.
Yeah, and for me, it's very much like we're celebrating the past, but we're also inspiring the future. I'm a woman. I'm a mother of 3 daughters, so I'm not sure if that's enough in itself of why I want to celebrate International Women's Day. But the idea that once upon a time we couldn't work, vote, do anything really without some sort of authoritative person over us. And for me, that's just absurd, and we've moved on so much since that time. So to celebrate the people that put us in the position that we are today is such an important thing for me. And then obviously to inspire the future, because we've still got those issues out there, such as the pay gap is still a thing. We've got healthcare inequalities for women. So there's so much that we could inspire for the future.
Can you give us a significant moment that, or an experience that shaped your perspective on equality gender?
I think listening to the stories for people's menopause journey, I think that we have done so much in the last few years, but we shouldn't have been we shouldn't be at that point. It should have been sort of business as normal for years and years and years. I think that's what sort of shaped my experience, my perspective on gender equality, that we haven't got equality in that aspect of things.
Yeah, I agree. And for me, I've got so much. If I'm honest, I think this all started for me when I was a 10-year-old girl singing Wannabe on the steps at school. Very girl power. I've very much been like that forever. And I've always sort of hid under a rock of the fear of being called the feminist. And I used to think I hated that terminology, and I didn't enjoy that narrative. But actually now I'm quite happy to be called that, because I think it is an empowering statement to be someone that's supporting women. There's so many things to think about that's changed my perspective. So, the Spice Girls, number 1 for me. And then as I've gone through my life, there's loads of little parts of my personal development and then going into my professional development that's highlighted the importance of gender equality. For example, 84% of our workforce is women. I'm a pelvic health physiotherapist, so I see women at their most vulnerable. It's really empowering to know that we're there to support these ladies, but historically that support has never been there. I read a book at my nan's house about the 1930s, and it was talking about the gender pay gap, and I actually nearly fell off my chair thinking that these issues were raised in the 1930s and they're still on our agenda today. So there's just so much that's constantly been fed into me that's opened my mind, but not to think about, little things like this. For example, I'm a physiotherapist by background, and I've seen a lot of patients with an ACL injury, and we hear that quite a lot. Everyone knows what an ACL injury is. And there's about an average, so in 2019, the statistics suggest that 15,000 people experience an ACL injury, but realistically, approximately 12,000 women experienced birth trauma. And really, do we have the same amount of support for ladies experiencing birth trauma as we do people experiencing ligament trauma in their knee? And when you jump on a trampoline, that's okay. And we just ignore that narrative, but falling over because your knee's giving way, we'll fix that. For me, what's worse? It's so mad to think that those healthcare inequalities are there, birthing people out there. It's madness, We're trying to repopulate the world, and we have to live with the consequences and be quiet about it, and it's all taboo. Again, there's a lot of mine is linked to pelvic health inequalities because of the job that I'm in as a pelvic health physiotherapist. We are getting there. We've had a new appointed women's ambassador, Dame Leslie Regan, and she's He's documented and brought out the women's strategy, which is amazing, and we've got the 10-year plan, which has got lots of important plans for women's health, which is unbelievable and incredible. If it just highlights that inequality that has been there, because these things are on the agenda now. My biggest one I would take home, anybody to take home from this, is go away and read the Invisible Woman book. It is fantastic. One of the big things that blew my mind in the book was women are more likely to be seriously injured in a car accident today. So that is a thing, just purely because of their genetic makeup, and crash dummies are built on the size and the weight distribution of men. Finally, for me, I've got loads ticking on there, but let's not to forget our trans community. Been difficult for women, but can you imagine how difficult it is for our trans community? For example, this year is about promoting inclusion and inspiring inclusion. So this is my little inspiration, my little food for thought. So cervical screening in itself is really difficult for some women. Just put yourself and your thoughts into the trans community that have to go through a process of cervical screening. It's not just the situation, being in the clinic, but it's also attending a woman's outpatients. It's also revisiting the trauma that you're experiencing, resurfacing memories. I follow a trans man on social media, and they've given me such great food for thought. So if there's anything that you can do for this International Women's Day to inspire inclusion, is go out and have a little look around trans women, trans men, and the issues that people experience on a day-to-day basis that we just don't even consider sometimes.
What are the practical steps then for individuals to take and promote gender diversity and inclusion?
So obviously, I am the Women's Network lead, so I'm going to say come and join our Women's Network. Our Women's Network is open to absolutely everybody, so please come and join us. Every support is fantastic, but joining the networks, not just my Women's Networks, we've got all other trusts, all other networks within the trust, so please reach out. We do like to think of ourselves as one network, although we have little side groups within them, subgroups, we do think of us as one trust network. Within the networks, we do little days like this, supporting International Women's Day, highlighting the issues of healthcare inequality for women. We've got the Trans Awareness Weeks, we've got awareness and understanding and education. We don't know it all. Even sat here today, I fear that I might say something that might impact or hurt somebody, and it's not through any fault that I don't know everything. I'm not completely educated in all the narrative out there. It's just having that language, isn't it?
Yeah.
We are emerging, we're changing, we're growing, we're learning. So it's all about educating yourself. I'm not perfect, and we're not expecting anyone to be perfect, but go out there and educate yourself and ask the questions why.
Yeah, and just feel free that if we are saying something wrong and it feels uncomfortable for you, then just highlight it. And
tell us.
Yes.
Yeah, come and tell us.
So
join our podcast.
I think it's just being inclusive, as Natasha has said, that we just want to go out and be just celebrating the differences, but also acknowledging the sort of indifferences as well, so that we can sort of go forward and be a better human being.
Definitely. So the aim of the game, like we've said, is to inspire inclusion this year for International Women's Day. So we're truly trying to include all women and embracing, diversity, race, age, ability, faith, body image, and how everybody identifies. Just being supportive of all women out there and trying our very best.
Final thoughts from each of you?
I would hope that people get on board with the International Women's Day, that you just think, oh, it's just another day.
Girl power.
Yeah, girl power. And do they ever shut up? And why is there a particular day just for women? There are sort of International Men's Day, and hopefully we would have the men's sort of network lead, and I'll be sort of coming for the wellbeing slant of men's discussion. But I think it's just celebrating it.
Yeah. It's crazy to think with how far we've come in such a short space of time, really. Looking back at my nan's era was totally different to what we are now. So let's keep changing, the period poverty movement, being aware of period poverty. Menopause, we've got wonderful Helen leading our menopause support groups, and just know that obviously we're linking with South Tees now, and they've got good support with menopause as well, and it's trying to encourage that growth and that support of our 84% of our workforce who possibly need us at any point of their career, because it's difficult, isn't it? I've just come back from maternity leave and the brain fog is real, so I can only imagine what I'm going to be like at perimenopause, so please help me, Helen. So it's just about that, support and educate, and just ask ask questions.
Well, thank you both. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Till next time, you've been listening to NTH Voices.